Hi, everyone. I'm Aarti Srinivasan. I'm a senior big data architect with the AWS Lake Formation team. I'm here to present and talk to you about data governance using Lake Formation. Now, let's see what is data governance. What does this data governance term mean? This has become very popular these days in the data world. So data governance means we centrally define, manage, and control how data is managed in an organization. You have a uniform mechanism to categorize the data, define need-based access policies for each team member and user groups in your organization. You'll have a central mechanism to define user access policies so that any new user and any new data set management becomes easier. Now, you should also be able to automatically detect as the data grows, right? So you collect more data from various sources. You need to be able to automatically detect sensitive PII information, provide masked data sets for the teams to use and track further the usage of those type of data especially. You'll create effective audit mechanisms on who accessed what data sets at what time, using what tools, and using which permission set. And you should be able to further trigger alarms, review those alarms, take actions, and create good audit reports on data usage as per requirements for your auditing mechanisms. Now, it's not just enough to secure the data. We need to make the data available to different teams for different purposes so that businesses could extract timely insights from this data. Data scientists, analysts, business intelligence users, data engineers, architects, and DevOps. Each role will need to use their own data analytics tools that they are skilled at, and hence you need to have a good choice of tool sets for each job role. Now, with having defined data governance, let's see what are the challenges in building a data governance model and how these challenges can be overcome. A variety of the very first challenge would be your variety of data formats and a variety of data sources. You could have data in on-premise servers. You could have clickstream data coming from mobile applications and various websites for your organization. You could have structured data sitting across a variety of databases, old and new database engines, and you could have log applications streaming data, and so hence you have a variety of data formats in ORC, Parquet, a variety of formats, and a variety of data sources. And it doesn't stop there. Having the next challenge would be the storage and maintenance challenge. Once you gather data from a variety of these resources sources, um, you will have to clean and classify them into different data usage types. You can start gathering all your data into first layer of storage, starting from like the raw data storage buckets. The next would be your cleaned and curated storage buckets. And the third layer could be your consumption ready and aggregated storage buckets. Now, as your data sets grow across a variety of these S3 buckets, you know how tough it is to manage these S3 access permissions for various analytics. S3 policies, bucket policies, and the corresponding IAM principal policies could get very cumbersome to write and manage, and continuously keep these updated with the growing data sets and your growing user sets. It's going to be very tough and managed. And the next challenge comes in cataloging all these structured, unstructured data in your organization. One set of catalog is Glue catalog, and any other to coordinating cataloging mechanisms in AWS, and catalogs could be in Hive Metastore, sitting across a variety of catalog systems, third parties, and other open source catalogs. So it's extremely important that the metadata should be continuously in sync with the changes in the input downstream or upstream data sets. Now, the next challenge is securing and sharing these data sets across accounts and organizations. You need to meet your strict compliance standards like GDPR as the highest priority. And you need to have auditing mechanisms that are consistent, repeatable, and you should be able to create audit reports that are easy to create and consume across the organization. The next set of challenges is to make the data discoverable and available to a variety of data analytics tools, machine learning and deep learning models. And making change to these permissions should reflect across the stack. Now, above all, whatever governance model you come up with, it has to scale well with the growth of data volume and the number of users and tools. So now we know what are the challenges in these data governance or building a data governance model. Now let's see how as AWS Lake Formation comes into the picture and helps to address some of these challenges in building a data lake and building a data governance model. AWS Lake Formation is a fully managed service to build, manage, secure, and share data in data lakes. The time to implement data lake is simplified from months timeline to days timeline. Lake Formation provides an RDBMS style grant revoke permissions model to IAM principals and SAML based Active Directory users on databases and tables cataloged in Glue data catalog. The underlying datasets are sitting on S3 buckets. Lake Formation removes the need to write and maintain complex S3 bucket policies and IAM and the corresponding IAM user policies, IAM principal policies. The next level of depth is how fine-grained can lake formation be used to define permissions to these database and tables. Lake formation can be used to uh, grant permissions to users at the column level, cell level, and using data filters in the concept called data filters. Lake formation can do fine-grained permissions for up to cell level. Next is how can we scale the permissions using lake formation? Do you have to constantly keep writing new grant policies? No, not at all. Lake formation has a concept called lake formation tags, which provides the tag based access control. These lake formation tags are different from IAM tags and AWS resource tags. Permissions definition scales well with these tag based access control. Tags reduces the number of grants that you need to define every time you create new tables and you create new users into the picture. You create a tagging strategy suitable to your organization's data access methods. You tag the users, you tag the resources, and define lake formation tag based grants. Now, for any new users and any new resources that gets added, all you need to do is tag them relevantly. Their permissions are already defined, so you don't have to do anything else. The user gets predefined access to new resources based on the existing tag permissions. Next is how easy it is to share cross account. In Lake Formation, sharing a resource to uh, across the account is same as similar to sharing within the account to any new IAM principals and Active Directory users. So using these cross-account shares, it's as easy to share and track using CloudTrail audit logs. These CloudTrail logs are available for both the sharing account as well as the recipient account. So you could come up with any additional models to build reports and regularly maintain these audits using the CloudTrail logs that Lake Formation provides. The last but not the least, the more effective point is the integration with a variety of tools for data analytics. Athena, Spectrum, Redshift Spectrum, Glue ETL, and EMR, SageMaker, QuickSight. And as the service continues to evolve, more choice of analytics engines, both from AWS and third-party engines, will get integrated with Lake Formation. Now, keeping all those challenges and available solutions in mind, organizations are adopting a more modern data governance pattern. These are continuously evolving patterns and highly scalable and custom built to every organization's needs. Similar to how applications evolved into microservices supported by open APIs, modern data architecture involves a transition from data as an asset mindset to data as a product implementation. What this means is that the team that produces and owns the data gets to manage its full life cycle. starting from the data ingestion at the source to how it is consumed by others downstream. We will see some of or a few of these variations in this modern data architecture patterns. Shown here is the very first one, which is a central data governance model. Here you see producer accounts on the left and few consumer accounts on the right. The central account is the central data governance account. The entire account structures and the architecture pattern is set up by a centralized data governance team. The all the producers are given access to catalog their metadata of databases and tables in the centralized glue catalog of the central account. And lake formation comes on top of it and is used by the producers from each account, each sharing account. The producers come here to the central account and start sharing, uh, writing the lake formation permissions for their respective database and tables. And the producers own the permissions model fully on any consumer who wants to access. They discover the glue data catalog, which is fully readable access across the entire organization. Each consumer, whoever wants to access the tables and databases for further analysis, they request access to the relevant corresponding producers, and the producer grants permission, um, the respective describe, select, alter table permissions, and column level permissions, restricted column permissions. Using data filters, you could restrict further down into the table access for each individual consumers. This is a holistic model where the central team could create and maintain the required data governance audit reports for the security compliance model. The next model that we'll see here, in the second model, there is one central lake formation. In the second model, there is one central lake formation account for permissions management within each line of business. So each line of business or department gets to manage their own data set fully, and the data is visible only within their line of business. The producers and consumers are within the same organization, and each central data governance account for each maintains their own auditing and reports. You are still having the options to share the data cross account as needed across the LOBs. These are still AWS accounts anyway, so each account will have its activated glue data catalog and lake formation settings. So once that is set up, sharing data across accounts is very easy. And the last model is a quite open model. There is no centralized lake formation permissions management. Each producer account serves the data directly from its account's lake formation and glue catalog settings. This avoids any additional hops to a centralized lake formation account and waiting for permissions. The producers can also be consumers in all the three models. Producers can also be consumers to other accounts' datasets. These are the three to come up with, but as per the use case, as your use case demands in the organization, the data access models could be different, and each company is free to come up with their own dataset models. To recap, we saw what data governance is, what are the challenges involved in building and maintaining a secure data lake with good data governance strategy, how lake formation solves some of these challenges. We also reviewed few modern data architecture patterns using lake formation. I'm sharing few additional resources here to get started with lake formation. You could use the workshop, documentation, blogs, and well-architected patterns. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Please reach out to me for any additional questions. Thank you.